somebody still trusts you, even though they shouldn't trust the situation that you're going through. Somebody still trusts you. That's deep. That right there is one of the biggest compliments I could ever receive. Is like, I know somebody out here following you, calling you, looking out, doing this, doing that, doing this, da da da, but I still trust you. And I know it ain't possible. I know it ain't probably. I know it's against your will. Like if I tell you right now, I got $8 million in the bank account, and this, that, the third, I'm gonna tell you that even knowing somebody over there is probably listening, probably checking your phone, probably hacking, probably sitting around dipping and dabbing it, probably doing all of this stuff, probably even mind reading you. But I trust you. Oh, I gotta chill. I gotta chill. Like, that speaks volume. Like, 'cause I know if all that wasn't going on, you wouldn't tell nobody. If I told you not to. You're like, oh, that's why people around here talking, oh, don't. What I do? I ask specifics. I say in my room. So if it's in my room and my door is open, you probably gonna get a little bit of the influence. Which means you're talking to me. See, I'm the type of person that's about policy. And that's pretty much a loophole because it's still recording in my room. Now, if you use a voice that's audible all the way down the hall to my room with the door closed or the door cracked or the door semi-open or like to pick it up that well after you've been noticed is on you. Because as soon as I came here, if I'm talking about a drug sale, guess what I'm going to do? Go in my room and close the door. If I'm talking about drug purchase or illegal gambling, illegal something, I'm going to take myself and put myself in a position where you can't hear me. That's big volume, bro. Like, I feel like I've been complimented like the most compliments. Like, my nigga, I still rock with you. Another chick. Like, dang, I still rock with you because I know where your heart at too. Like, that should make people think. That in itself, I rock with you, one because you stand up. You don't just, oh, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna lie. Nah, bro, I'm good with that. I heard something when I was in here. Oh, I didn't hear nothing. I don't care what you did in here. I heard. I saw this person do it. Like even with like a sale, like even with like the whatchamacallit, I was like, I don't think this is really what it is. Now, if you telling me this, that, and the third, I'm kind of looking you and checking your body language. Guess what I'm thinking? What you tell me is what I'm gonna get. So that speaks volume. That jump speaks mad volume. And we already know about all the other this and all the other that. So it's like it lets you know one thing is either A, I wouldn't say, oh, it could be, it couldn't be, but it's different if somebody is, like I said, it's a different feel. You'd have to have been here, been following around a long time. That's why I'm gonna keep being honest. Like you would have to have been being followed around for a long time. They would have to know your background, where you've been, who you've been hanging around, if there's been this going around you, for you to do something and say in the same breath you don't want to. Because see, you're not gonna get me like that. You gotta try to say you predicted my movements. You gotta try to get in front of me. You gotta try to hurry up. You gotta run back and forth if you a freaking spirit. You going back and forth to the devil, or you whoever going back and forth if you're an alien going back and forth, a devil going back and forth, person going back and forth, anything going back and forth, you got to go back and forth with me. Meaning, you got to observe me do something. Okay, well, I'm down there listening. I just heard he's going to go to the store. Oh, you heard him go to the store, huh? Guess where I'm going? To the bank. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you said he's going to the store. Now he at the bank. Oh, I switched it when he was like halfway to the bank. I said the bank. Why did you say the bank? How did you know he's going to the bank? He didn't say the bank. Oh, okay. Like these are things I think about. Like I'm not gonna just I'm gonna go because you making me. No, you have to come hard. Like I said, I'll itch and scratch for my justice. I don't play about that. I don't play about honesty. You're like, oh shoot, well, guess what he got now because he was playing with me. You got monkey. You're like, well, that's a cure for that, I believe. It's a cure for that, so we good. What you got next? We got sickle cell. Okay, well I just pop another vitamin in the morning. I'm still on the same. I've been on. It ain't nothing added, changed. I'm like, thank God for that, Lord. Bless you. But I'm like, what makes a person or stand-up person is the intent, the after. And I'm just sitting here like, dang, like you might go through some stuff, but people will look at you a whole lot different. You know why like military people get like looked at? It's not because like people got all their intentions about the war. This is basically what I've got from listening to people. So I've been around like Army vet, out in LA. I've had like people that I kind of associate or kind of ran into to tell me they're in the Army, they've been in the Army. I worked in HR, and I'm like, when you talk about HR, like 9 times out of 10, you're sitting there and you're like, dang, this guy's in the Army. One thing he had is discipline at heart. 9 times out of 10, because you don't know what you're fighting for, really. You know you're trying to keep your country free, right? But then there's all the speculations of, oh, they're trying to dominate, trying to control, trying to do this, trying to do that. But you just know one main thing. If you don't go over here and fight, 9 times out of 10, they're coming to where you're at. So it's like they get, and HR sometimes preferential. Like, not even gonna lie. HR, they do get a little preferential because they know how they're disciplined, they know how they're coded. But I'm like, you would have to at this point, you would have to amaze me by actually coming through because I'm just like it. You got to be real. You can't say this situation is what held you back or what's holding you back. And that's one thing I thought too. I was like, now why does people try to claim this and claim that? But I'm like, you can't claim this and claim that unless you're in the shoes and doing the same stuff and actually going about it almost the same exact way. You can't sit there and not make a complaint. You can't sit there and wallow in your. You can't sit there and be like, oh well, you know what I mean? Well, they're doing the same thing to me, and like I doubt that because they would have to come harder. You probably wouldn't even be close to me. You want to know why? Because their focus has to be on you. Now maybe you came out of it, slight possibility, but then it's like, where were you at? What were things going on? Did you do the same things? Did you not? If you didn't do the same things and you were somewhere close or somewhere far, then 9 times out of 10, it didn't happen to you. But like I said, like walking around here, I'm saying I don't really hear nobody else getting the same treatment, which kind of sparks curiosity to me. Like, it might be somebody lower on the lower floor that might get it, but then it's like it would what's the word? It would overlap each other. But you have to think long and hard about who all you include in everything. Like, are you helping or are you proving? Oh, then are you going to use that excuse of, oh, it happened to us, or oh, what's going on? Like, okay, like you got people in. Like, I noticed other people have people in their rooms. I don't have people in my room. They try to keep me. They're not really actually like they use other people to do that. They're like, oh, well, you did it. Not really, because I found somebody I kind of could talk to a little bit, and you know, they're by themselves. I was by myself, so it's like, why not? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? You know, and it is what it is. But you know, like one person I speak to, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. Like we haven't had like a full-fledged conversation, but we have like a small conversation to the point to where we could possibly do this and possibly do that. And then also some things we do, we don't do with each other. Like I know one guy, you know, he spoke, but he wants to smoke weed. I'm like, I don't got my weed license. I got time for that right now. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm stressed, but it's putting me to sleep. So it's not as intense. It's not. I mean, I guess in a way it is, but in a way it ain't. Meaning, I'm not. Well, actually, it's kind of intense. I guess one thing that they're not doing is the whole acting kind of oblivious or slow. I guess they're doing like much more as they probably would have behind the register. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But them not allowing me to have safety guards, meaning like when I make a complaint to a store, that means what? I don't know what you're doing because you haven't still made yourself fully aware. So why wouldn't I? And then you start turning. It seems like you're turning. And that's kind of what happened before. I'm like, why do they keep doing that when it's like they turning stuff? You know? And now all of a sudden it's nice. And then, or nicer. Now all of a sudden it's like, whatchamacallit? That's why I went ahead and say, we're going to see what's said downstairs. Now, if somebody is looking out for you, guess what they'll say? He might be better off. But did you leave? Well, it depends. It depends on what's going on in the background. You know what I mean? Like it depends. If everything's kind of lightening up, then you wouldn't want a safety transfer. But that's a call for management to make. Well, I haven't really heard nothing. There's really been nothing. Da 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 da. I'll shoot him an email back and kind of explain it to me, see what he says, and then I'll respond. Versus, I'll go in my office, hear what I'm told, and just do what I'm told. And I don't mean by like, I'm not going to put nobody on the bus, but she could be walking on the floors right now. They could be telling her, you need to safety transfer him. You need to safety transfer him. He got to be a safety transfer. You should safety transfer him. Safety transfer him. Get him out of here. It's not safe. When in fact, he's finally kind of talking to one. You know what I mean? So what do you do? Is that people in these situations would have to up their game. Granted, they probably should get a little bump. You know, I'm not talking about no coke either. Like, because you have to know psychology. This place has its own psychology. It's like a jail. I think people forget that. In jail, there's a certain psychology that I noticed where people play on your sympathy, play on your oh, poor woe is me. You know, I had this, I had that, and oh, I was wrong. And then turn around with other people. Yeah, and I made that lick. I got up off that thing, got that bread. You know what I'm saying? I had to hustle, y'all. I flipped the chicken one time. It was like, I paid for the chicken like $200. I flipped that thing like 5 times, bro. I'm telling you, I put some baking soda in that thing, or, you know, some whatever, some cocaine, or whatever, some, chopped up some Adderalls, mixed it in there real tight, made it flip, made it bubble up. You know what I'm saying? Like, real, like, took the skim that top off there right there, got that stuff, that real stuff. Bake, got that water out of there. Shout hey. But then turn around to the whatchamacallit, yeah, you know, me lady, oh, I hurt my arm. What wrong with my arm? You know, and I'm working in the infirmary now. I'm in the infirmary. And then try to make real popular. Oh yeah, you know, hey, Lily. Oh, what's up, bro? You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. And then guess what? Guess who watching? Detention officer or manager. Oh, they seem like they're getting along with people. They show are. They're setting up shop in your building. Like setting up shit out. They about to start cranking out. And then you forget what you supposed to do. And then what if the cops come through and they get tired of coming through because they like, dang, like they might even see what's going on. They be like, oh, I see what this is. They look at me probably like, yeah, you don't even know. Like this fool boy, this one right here, he just, Lord, what wrong with him? Come back. We back, yeah. Well, I bet they probably rock, paper, scissors, 3-0. Not even. What is it when you say? I bet you $10 I know what room it is. What happens to fight over there, such and such? I bet you I know who involved. Who? Such and such. And that new person. That new person. That the one you know I'm talking about, the one that spoke to us and said, good morning, how are you doing? That one. Oh. Mm-hmm. Get over there, sure enough. You know who it is too with him, right? Who? Shanky. Shanky? Mm-hmm. Get over there. Who is it? Oh no, it's Shanky friend. Close enough. Yeah, Shanky friend. But then Shanky taking whose side? Shanky friend taking Shanky friend's side. Or Shanky taking Shanky friend's side. And you know Shanky Shanky. But the new guy ain't doing nothing. So it's like, huh. It's like pretty much like you know, that's messed up that he gotta do this, he gotta do that. Like they just straight dogging him. He up in there, he don't even know. Good kid. Don't even know. Well, you know, everything. But see, sometimes some people do know everything, and that's when they get real complicated because it's like, oh no, you know everything. You should have my dang door, you should have known. That hold up. They'll try fast. Camera, come inside the bank camera. I'm reciting stuff to you and recording. So it's like that's when you get up here. Let me just fall back and just do mine. But you see somebody like me ain't got nothing on that door. So you might try to help a little bit. Cause you're like, okay, I see that recording, so that means probably somebody messing with him. You know what I mean? Like everybody, ain't nobody else in here recording but him. I got a wide camera in this room. Everybody else's room getting kicked in on a daily. And this one got a wide camera. So it's like psychology. You gotta kind of personality everything. I'm like, I said this last time. I'm like, it's kind of funny sitting around watching. You got people that sit up there for a long time. And you be like, mm-hmm. And then might go to another one. And that's another thing too. I'm like, it'd be random, but I'm like, do it really be random? That's when you have to look at management. Like, you're the same type person coming to the same type room doing the same type that's when things get shady because you be like, okay, did you not notice this person came to the same type room? Like every time y'all get the same type person coming to the same type. And you might get one that make it out, one that transfer out real quick, one that be there might get pregnant, or be there might have a child and leave, or we gotta upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Like something to kind of watch the whole cycle, because you have a cycle, so you have to kind of map out how many times did this happen here. What was the gap in between? What type of person moved in after? Oh, it was a guy, but then he got a better place, or oh, it was a girl, but she had a baby, or it was this. Okay, well, why y'all didn't do that with this one? Oh, it was COVID, but he transferred within a month, in the middle of the heat of COVID. I'm talking about I was moving when they was like, you gotta wear a mask and you can't be outside. I was like the only one. Loading up stuff in the rental car, putting the thing on top of the car, trying to transfer. But I don't know, like I sit back and I wonder who looks at all that. They'd be like, oh well, da 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 da. I'm like, because it don't take that much to kind of figure it out. It really don't. You can run 4 or 5 concurrent investigations and then compare. Look at the back history, the transfer history on certain people. Look at their rapport with the agencies. Look at how they come in, how they talk to people. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey. Huh. That's the baddest one, but he seems like he know everybody. Seems like they like him. Now, who it is? A threat. Look at him. Dressed nice. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he know policies. Oh, excuse me, sir, Mr. Policies. I never really say why I would know policies, but I'd be like, you know, I'm pretty sure you could do it this way, ma'am. It had gotten to a point where I had to teach people how I was like, no, you should click here, click there. Like the last guy, he was looking for something. I was like, oh, no, you just click right here. He's like, oh. Or he put in a receipt for, what is it called? There's like a receipt for the visit, basically showing that you did this and you did this while you were there. You click, 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 fill in the reason, they sign it. Their manager signs it, they put it in, put it through the financial, or they put it through case management, or they put it through just on your file if you upload and stuff. And I'm showing you where to click. And like, and that's why some don't like me, because I'm like, they realize I know they game, so they have to up it. And that's why some other folks like me, because they like, we know he's a good guy. So imagine being that person in the middle. Be like, Jesus. You get it from mainly from one side, but you get a little bit from the other side where you have people that are in those positions that shouldn't be in those positions. And that's why I was like, when I used to read those files at HRA, I was like, y'all let people get away with a lot. Like, my nigga, if I looked at anything explicit, fired. And you're caught, fired. If you fight with some person and the police say you started it, fired. So I started looking at anything like, oh, they overlooked that. How didn't you? Nothing for this. Should I be the word? You gotta get federally protected. Oh, yeah. Y'all got God for life. All you gotta do is come in. You do excessive lateness, you get a little coaching after like what, a whole bunch of time. If they really turn them in. I'm like, you gotta realize too, like, you gotta, it's when things are changing, you gotta change. So I'm looking at people like, okay. And if not, y'all should. Because I'm like, had I been running, I'd be like, well, good. You know what? He's, not saying just black. I'm saying anybody that do that stupid stuff. I don't know. I'm like, I just sit back like, I really should have stayed with what you call it. But I'm like, it was too much, and I wasn't really protected in a sense. That's why I was kind of sad and depressed. Not sad and depressed. Kind of mad because I was like, I'm here, and this is really not the time. I should have been. Actually, that apartment should have been approved. That was the mess up. They talking about my credit score, but I was like, you can't look at somebody's credit when they're coming to you through their job, or it's like secure. I was like, I work for HRA, and this is through them. How can you look at my credit? And it was noise. That apartment was noise. This will be a brand new building. I think on the water too. And that's how they probably that's why I'm wearing what you call it had to be on. That's probably why as soon as I came back, and some things are allowed. I'm like, that don't make no sense. I called too. I remember calling. Excuse me. And I literally left and had to get away and spent money. I was trying to call. I was calling. I was like, look, I'm trying to pay this thing. If something on my thing, trying to get my money down. I kept calling. Nobody got picked up. And then they started. And I was like, oh my God. Like hammering him. It got to the point where I was so. That was when they started talking about that hissing. And I was just like, dang. So like, why are they hissing at me? Why they? I'm walking down the street, you know what I'm saying? Man, all this extra stuff. And I was like, why are they doing me like that? Come over here, like, I'm just here trying to make a change. And they were literally doing way too much. And I was just like, dang, y'all, for real, bro. Like, I'm trying to do for the people. And it's different. It was like, it was different. It was like, why the world would y'all do this or would y'all do that? And then to even start something based off a lie is where I'm disappointed in what you gonna call it. I'm like, y'all coming in off a lie, bro. I mean, y'all realize that? Like, y'all are, I'm like, why are they hissing? I mean, really hissing. not right, bro. I was like, that ain't right. And then they had me hard. I went and tried to get a job at whatchamacallit. They moved, by the way, when I went to training. And I think I said that. This guy looked so surprised because I was walking down the street. I was like, oh, I know that device. I was like, ooh. I was like, that's the one he look at and reply to you. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that device is, I was about to start in front of him. That device is so hard. I was like, me and this one dude, I remember this, it was like the first time I felt so emotional because I was like, this is like the first time I'm having like a homie I'm sitting here with and we watching the game. I was like, wow. I was like, my dude, this is so like I think he might have got it because he was quiet. And I was like, it's kind of creepy. Dude ain't doing nothing. He just kind of sitting there. I'm just sitting here like, same way too. I almost forgot. I think we started playing the hoop game on his thing, and there was a game that came on, and we started watching a bit of it, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it was so that grabbed my heart so bad. I was like, this is the first time I'm really like sitting down and being like almost like invited to watch a game with somebody. I mean, I watched one like after that with my niece and been to one, but like a long time ago. But I was like, we sitting here like boys. I didn't have a minute like that forever when I was in New York. Like nobody really like let's sit down. I went to a Super Bowl party, quote unquote, and went to a bar with some people a couple of times. But I was like to sit there and just vibe, not even like even talk, but just kind of be into the game. But I told you, dude, I was like, dang, these things are hard, bro, because you gotta look at the letters. I'm sitting here like, my nigga, if we had to text with eyes, I'd be tired. You gotta look at the yes, you gotta look at the no, you gotta focus on the Y, the E, the S, the R, the S. If he messes up, look back at the delete, then go back to the S, the T, the N, the O, the P. I'm just like, dude, that's a lot. I was like, little buddies are strong. I was like, because I probably been like, I would have had one button for yes, one button for no. Just yes and no all the time. Yes, no, and ha ha ha. And sad or hungry and help me. Like this nigga had the keyboard. He was just looking. I think was he playing a game we were walking or something. I was just like, anyway. But I was like, that was the only time I had to work that game. And then I moved to that thing and this guy, and this is like a whole bunch of stuff. And the same people that I came back around, well, not that came back around me. But that was like, it was almost like he felt like strategically placed. Because I was like, you could have probably got transferred to another one other than Polo Grounds. And it wasn't that far. Like I put not in that zip code, I believe. And you moved me like one zip code up. So like my nigga. And then when I asked about seeing the other option, we have to turn down one first. You know I am not gonna turn down that. You saw how big that apartment was. My nigga, that apartment was huge. I was like, dang. Like the living room was bigger than this. The freaking bedroom was about like this, a little bit big. Well, about like this. Probably a little bit bigger. It was probably bigger. Big windows, bathroom was big, new looking, long wall closet when you walk in, hallway, kitchen, dining room area. I was like, oh, now we look at me. Okay, night should come through. But then I was like, I should have known. I should have known when I moved there. They were like, you had to turn it down because I was steady asking her like, can I go see another apartment? Like I like this one, but no, you gotta turn this one down before you go see the other one. I was like, so what? what happens if I get the next apartment and the next apartment is like a hole in the wall? Or in a building like that's a hole in the wall. It was on the same train line. So I was like, at least it could have been on like the 2 or the 3. Like you would at least thought to kind of, if you're gonna move somebody emergency transfer that was quick, you move them far. Like if you in Harlem, move them out of Harlem. Or if you're in the Lower West Side, move them to the Lower East Side. Somewhere where it's like completely separate. Because I started seeing I saw like the same dude at my thing up at my building like 3, 4 times. I was like, that's the same one that was, hey, what's up? Nothing, quiet as hell, but I was like, what's up? Not much. So, okay. So everything kind of seems really weird. Everything seems really suspect. And you expect somebody to really trust and want to do or want to this and want to that and not stand up for me or not trust me or try to go against me. It's going to be like, why would you go against him when he clearly wasn't the ish? And you try to use that cop out excuse. Because then also last time they tried to hit me with some of the same stuff, it wasn't as intense. It wasn't as intense. I was like, y'all pulling all the stunts. y'all pulling hella stunts and letting hella stuff slide. But because I was working different jobs and it wasn't that intense on the job, and I was like, it was intense on the job this time. And then I noticed too, one of the people's houses I came with was up this way when I was at 116. I was like, oh, this is that dude's house I went to, and I heard some commentary when I came up to his house. I was in a cab. Just like, that is the thing. What should have been like, that should have been the point of, okay, you know what? We need to go ahead and be honest with it, man. Go ahead and there you go. Sorry. Our bad. Oops. A full apology not. Let's create this whole elaborate, drawn out excuse of, oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. Oh, it's because it is. Oh, it's this person. Oh, no, it's that person. No, it's a lot. I'm like, but Joseph was the only one pretty much would try to help out the job. Then he went back home and it got real. That's Harry went back there, but I'm like, with all the stuff that occurred, it's like it's not going to not. I mean, I guess it wouldn't fall me at first, but then it wasn't like it was me though. It wasn't like letting you come back and you're a completely different person or you're completely different. It's like people aren't instantly looking for you. I was like, dang. I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird. So then it's like you should really just kind of grab your britches and come and like, yo, bro, yeah, we gotta figure out X, Y, and Z because it ain't right to you for us to sit here and try to use an excuse and try to play like it's not right for it wasn't you doing this and doing this and you can't say, oh, I was doing this and I wasn't. Yeah, okay. I woke up every morning running. Hey, how you doing? Hi, how you doing? Hey, good morning. How you doing? I'm fine. How you doing? Good morning. At the gym, but flexing, bro. It just follow me there like that. Only happened when I got things when I was that they were the, or the, not the officer, but when I say the officer, the one that came. Because I was never struck with somebody was the officer or not. So I'm like, that's when that whole thing. They keep saying your best. I'm like, is that who you talking about? Because like, this is what I thought in person somewhere. Hell, it's gotta be. It's not me. I be in my room. Things were calm like right now. Y'all had nobody fucking around. I'm like, I'm confused as to what lie. But not really. No, we gonna stay. Like, dang. Some people up here shady. Yes. Like I went to was it HRA and down in the lobby. I was in the lobby, bro. Oh y'all done made it deep. I started. They got real. Dang, somebody like.